सेवक आनन्दं परमानन्दम् स्वामी सेवक आनन्दम् स्वामी सेवक आनन्दम् ॐ गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ 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 दीननाथ दीनबन्धु दीननाथ दीनबन्धु दिव्यस्वरूप सद्गुरुनाथ दिव्यस्वरूप सद्गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ शिवगुरुनाथ स्वामिनाथ शिवगुरुनाथ स्वामिनाथ शिवगुरुनाथ स्वामिनाथ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
हैप्पी दिवाली जानकी दी।
Happy Diwali. Happy Diwali to everybody. And Ashia has a question. How do you know what you know? Page 224, second para. It is crucial to identify where one currently is. How to identify, what pointers can we use for identification? Asha, if you have this particular paragraph, can you read it? Because everybody may not be aware of the context and what. Tell us the chapter name, the topic name, and the paragraph. And, maybe we can make this a sort of thing that when you have a reference, that reference could come up on the screen so that everybody's on the same page, because somebody may or may not have the book. But as of now, can you read it, Ashia?
Yeah.
Tell us the chapter name, the subtopic name, and read this paragraph.
So the chapter's name is Gaining Knowledge. The subtopic is Being More Than Google.
I can't hear you. The subtopic is?
Being More Than Google.
Asha, I can't hear you. Subtopic is?
Being more than Google.
Okay.
Okay. I'll read the paragraph above it. Since knowledge is meant to modify our perception and behavior, there is a natural caveat. We have to start from where we are. We cannot make a sudden leap. A PhD cannot be obtained by a KG student. Her capacity to take in knowledge is restricted by her current level. And yet often people stuck at one level insist on everyone seeing things in their particular way. But each one is at a different stage and can only grasp so much. When we understand this, we will not attempt to thrust our knowledge down someone else's throat, to impose our views on others. To learn, it is crucial to identify where one currently is. What's one's current perception is, that is, current nature or level. From there, we need to take a step forward. When we take a step forward, we see more. New vistas open up. For the headlights to show further, the car has to move.
Nice paragraph, no?
Very nice.
So your question is, I hope everyone heard that. And it is crucial to identify where one currently is, how to identify what pointers can be used for this identification. How do we know where we currently are? The answer to that is brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. Why are you doing what you're doing will tell you where you currently are. Why are you coming to class? Why do you go to work? Why do you meet anybody? Why do you take care of your family? Why? Once we're able to identify what is my current intention, why am I doing this? It's not about my action. It's not about what I do. It's not about whether I speak sweetly or I speak harshly, whether I am cooperative with people or I'm not cooperative with people. It's got nothing to do with any of this. It has to do mainly with why am I doing whatever I'm doing. So once I figured out, honestly, brutally honestly with myself, why I'm doing what I'm doing, I will know my level. What is the real motivation? When I served somebody, what was my real motivation? When I cooperated with somebody, what was my real motivation? When I spoke sweetly to somebody, what was my motivation? Why am I studying? Why am I doing my yoga? Why am I doing my exercises? Am I doing my exercises genuinely so that I will use this body for service? Or am I doing my exercises because I would like to have a nice body? Like, so just honesty with ourselves will tell us uh, where we are. Because, Asha, because you have been here for a very long time, another 20-year-old student, you already know the gradation. For those who are coming in new, just to finish the answer and say the gradation is this. When we do some things for ourselves, we are selfish and self-centered. The only purpose of doing it is to get something for myself. There's nothing else. When we move up slightly, we do things for our families out of attachment, for the family. If we move up even further, our identification spreads to a wider arena, maybe community, maybe something like that. And then we go there to country. From there, you go to humanity. From there, you go to all creatures. From there, you go to self-realization, to God. So this is how a person grows gradually. You don't force yourself to identify with larger. As you grow, the reason you're naturally doing it is for a wider a circle of identification. So this becomes natural. You think like that. You think automatically like that. So once you know how you think, you will know where you stand on the path. What are you doing it for? Go deep within yourself. You will find that there's always a sort of mixed intention. You want for yourself also, and you want for that also. Be honest. Just be honest. You don't have to tell anybody, you don't have to reveal it to anybody, but to ourselves, why can't we be honest? Just be honest. Why? And you don't have to do that after every action, Ashya. So Ashia's counter question is, so before, after every action, we should analyze the intention. Don't need to analyze after every, your level is more or less given. So generally, you know what you're doing things for. You don't have to do it each time, because it's not like it's going to be different each time. It's that intention level is the same no matter what we do. Okay, see, so look at it like this: a criminal doing whatever he is doing, he's doing it with a particular intent, right? That's why we call him a criminal. So intention is more or less the same. You don't have to do it all the time. You just have to be generally aware of what is going on. General awareness. You don't have to go on too much behind it. But once you know that, you know what is the next step for you. And once you're very clear about this, about yourself, you will be able to tell this about others and what's the next step for them. This is the big thing in knowledge that few people get, that everybody doesn't have to do the same thing. We'll all do different things because we're all at different levels, and we can't do the same thing. It would not be correct for us to do the same thing. And so we say, oh, you know, those people do that. But maybe for them that's right. So why shouldn't they do it? Or that person does that. For him it may be right. So what? So we don't make universal things for everybody and say everybody should do this or everybody should do that. No, not at all. You can't say everybody should study fifth standard. How can you say everybody should study fifth standard? We don't know what they've studied so far. Maybe they're at MA. Why are you sending them to fifth? Or maybe they haven't entered school. How can you send them to fifth? You can't make a general thing. And that's usually what's wrong with all these moralistic stances we take in life. We make a general rule for everybody. It doesn't work like that. Are you okay, Ashil?
Anji Janki ji. Yes.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yes, Janki ji.
Okay. All right. Then Karan Vaswani. Hariom Karan, what is the difference between sattvic attachment to knowledge and desire for liberation? How do I know where I stand? Is it attachment or mumukshatra? It's a very subtle concept, Karan. It's a subtle understanding trying to figure this one out. It's not easy because the mind is not so. Are you here, Karan?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So this is very subtle, Karan. To figure this out, you need a great deal of objectivity to be able to tell, is this sattvic attachment to knowledge or is it the desire for liberation? Sattvic attachment to knowledge means you're extremely attached to the knowledge. Means you have the knowledge, you enjoy the knowledge, you're very happy with the knowledge, you're very happy with life generally. Everything seems wonderful to you, and you would love to have more knowledge. That's sattvic attachment to knowledge. Desire for liberation is to understand that knowledge means nothing. Now, this is difficult to sort of get because knowledge means nothing means what? How can you say knowledge means nothing? Knowledge is our past over there. So this is difficult. It's a difficult one to get. You have to be extremely objective to know what's really happening. To know our own intentions is always very difficult. And now the question you're asking is very subtle intentions. Different between sattva and mumukshatra. So that you're asking the question is a good thing in the sense that at least that has occurred to you. So that's very good. But it's a difficult one. How do you know whether it's attachment to knowledge or desire for liberation? You have to go down deep into yourself and say, am I using this knowledge as a tool? Or am I falling in love with the knowledge? Am I happy with the knowledge? Or is the knowledge a sacred tool for me? This is a part of spiritual life, which is another highly misunderstood one, where we take certain aspects of spirituality and say these are very good. I'm not interested in whether they're good or bad. We're interested in using them as a tool for self-development or self-realization. And if it's not a tool, it's as much involvement in the world as anything else. You know, throughout the Gita, how much Krishna, poor thing, you feel sorry for him, goes on repeating, doesn't get to us. You know, and the qualities of the Bhakta, he has 35 qualities of the Bhakta. He says, you are my Bhakta if you have these 35 qualities. But we don't think so. We think, oh, I love God, so I'm a Bhakta. No, it doesn't work like that. If I am not using the whole spiritual path as a tool for self-realization, this is just another indulgence. This is just another entertainment for my mind. The whole team is working so hard at the moment for the yajna. I believe many of you are participating and everyone's working together for this. But why are we doing it? Is this our tool? Is this our sacred tool for self-development or self-realization? Or is it another form of entertainment for us? See, we have 24 hours. We have to do something in those 24 hours. Each one will choose his own thing. So what are we doing? So what is the part you have to examine, Karan, is, for me, is knowledge a tool for improvement, or is knowledge something I am enjoying? Is karma, when I go to my work, in fact, you know, you can look at other aspects of your life and that will also give an indication. When I go to work, is it my tool for improvement? Improving myself? Or is it something else? When I'm with my family, is it my tool for improvement? Or is it something else? So if you look at not only your association with knowledge, but your association with all things, you would be able to give yourself a fairly good understanding of what the mind currently is interested in. Is that okay, Karan?
Yes, ma'am. Super. Thanks.
Sarthak. My father is sitting here and he has this notion that all suffering in our house is caused by some paranormal activity or vastu, etc. He wears all these tavis. I want to dispel these doubts. He asks for your views on this. If you could speak in Hindi, it would be better. So, Jindal ji, दुख का कारण एक ही होता है और वो है इच्छा. इसके कारण दुख का कोई कारण नहीं होता. ये सनातन धर्म है. ये अटल सत्य है. जहां तक हमारे मन में इच्छा होगी, उतने प्रोपोर्शनल में हमारा दुख होगा. इसको कोई नहीं बढ़ा सकता और कोई नहीं घटा सकता. जब हमारी इच्छाओं की पूर्ति नहीं होती तो मन में एक तरह का फ्रस्ट्रेशन आ जाता है, निराशा आ जाती है. और उस समय कोई भी आदमी हमको कह दे कि ये करने से अच्छा होगा, वो करने से अच्छा होगा, हमारा उस पर विश्वास आ जाता है, क्योंकि हमारे मन में निराशा आ गई उन इच्छाओं के बारे में. तो जब तक वो निराशा है तब तक हमारा विश्वास ये पैरानॉर्मल एक्टिविटी वास्तु में रहेगा. तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए कि वो जो इच्छाएं हैं जिसकी पूर्ति नहीं हो रही है या नहीं हो रही, उन इच्छाओं में इफ वी अप्लाई आवर इंटेलेक्ट, सोचने लगे कि क्या हो रहा है, क्यों मुझे वो चाहिए पर वो मिल नहीं रहा है, इस विषय पे सोच कर कुछ काम करे उस विषय में, तो ये विश्वास भी चला जाएगा, ये सब वास्तु और पैरानॉर्मल एक्टिविटी के बारे में, और मन को भी शांति मिल जाएगी. करेक्ट सारा. अच्छा जिंदल जी, ये ठीक, यू ओके विद दिस?
Thanks, ma'am.
All right, so now Sarah says, could you please translate that into English? Okay. So, Sarah, the question was that suffering is caused in our house by some paranormal activity or vastu, and so people wear certain what is taweez in English now? I have struggled doing from English to Hindi and again Hindi to English. What is taweez? Amulets. Amulets. They put amulets and things like that to get over the negative things. So the gentleman, Mr. Jindal, has asked for views on that. So we went back to Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma means eternal principles. Vedanta, another name for Vedanta is Sanatan Dharma, which is eternal principles, which is true. Eternal principles means those which are true for all humans in all periods of times. It's true for everybody at every time. So what is true for everybody at every time is the cause of sorrow is desire. There is no getting away from that. There's only one way to be unhappy, and that is to have desire. If you don't have desire, you cannot be happy, unhappy. Nobody can make you unhappy. To the extent you have a desire, you will be unhappy. Nobody can reduce it and nobody can increase it. Nobody can do something to you and increase your sorrow, and nobody can do something to you and decrease your sorrow also, because your sorrow is always proportional to your own desire. This is an eternal principle. There's nothing you or I or anyone can do about it. So therefore, since that is the only cause, excuse me, when you wear amulets or when you believe in feng shui, vastu shastra, when you believe in all these things, why is the human mind going there? Because at some point, our desires don't get fulfilled, and then we get a deep sense of disappointment in our heart. We become like sort of lost. What to do? Oh, I want something, I can't get it. So get into disappointment, into frustration. And at that point, when you're in that disappointment and frustration, somebody comes and tells you, wear this amulet, go to this temple, go to this church, go to this mosque, go to this spiritual person, do this, do that, whatever they tell you, you will grab onto it like a drowning man clutching a straw. Because he'll clutch anything that he has, right? Not because it'll help him, but because he has to clutch onto something. So that's what happens. So therefore, this is a human behavior. It is it's slapped into every one of us if we reach that condition. So what should we do? Take these desires, whatever you have, whatever is unfulfilled, think about it, apply your intellect to it, figure out how can we do something about it? How can we fulfill that desire? Okay, my mind should never reach a state of such frustration that I'm willing to believe just about anything and everybody. So why did I reach that stage? How have I frustrated my mind? How do I fulfill that desire which is lurking within me, which will make me do stupid things if I don't deal with it in a sensible and intelligent and mature manner? So I apply my intellect, I try to figure out how to fulfill the desire, and I fulfill the desire. Not only will I fulfill the desire and be happy, contented person, but all these beliefs which had been raised in my mind because of my frustrations and unhappiness and disappointment, they will simply go away. They are the outcome of You know, it's like a drowning man. He'll clutch any straw that's thrown to him. Is that okay, Sarah? Sarah?
Janki,
Yes,
she
thank
has
you so
said
much.
yes.
Yes, Sister Jangi, thank you so much.
Okay, Anmol Jain says, how do we get rid of desire? We get rid of desire in two ways, actually in one way, but it manifests in two ways. Anmol. The only way to get rid of desire is to gain knowledge of higher and better things. When you get knowledge of higher and better things, the lower desires go away, right? So if you get what? If you get a Mercedes, the desire for a Maruti 800 will go away, right? So whenever you get higher desires, better desires, nobler desires, lower selfish desires wane away. Now, to get the higher desire, you need to study and reflect, and you also need to deal with the desires that you currently have. By these two processes, one gains the higher desire. You can't wish your desires away, right? We have the desires, so we have to learn to deal with them properly. Use your intellect, direct your desire, figure out which one should be fulfilled, which one should not be fulfilled. If according to you it should be fulfilled, then how are you going to fulfill it? What are the right ways and means to fulfill it in such a way that because you're fulfilling that one thing, everything else in your life doesn't go haywire and berserk, which is what people do, right? I want money, I want money, I want money. And in the pursuit of money, everything else is gone. Just chill. It's very stupid to um, what should I say? You spend all your health trying to earn money, and then you spend all your wealth to get back the health. That sounds a bit stupid. Then you waste all your relationships trying to get money, and then you spend money to get back the relationship. Pagalpanti hai kya? You gone mad? So when you're pursuing something, you must pursue it from a sensible perspective. You can't do any one thing to the exclusion of everything else. So sensibly, maturely, using your intellect, you do these things. So yeah, so change scares me. Yes, Amol, everything is change is scary, and it is something that we're frightened, and and fear of loss is always there. That's why you develop the intellect, because these emotions in the mind will always be there. So you develop the intellect, and the intellect makes you discriminate, makes you capable of dealing with whatever it is. Okay, so you have the money. Now, why are you frightened of losing it? Are you uh, being indiscriminate in your spending? Are you becoming miserly? The mind is doing something that is generating that fear. The mind is constantly doing silly things and creating fear in itself, creating negativity in itself. In the Upanishad, it's called Atmahanaha, suicide. Because the mind will do stupid things and the mind will get affected by it. It's not, intellect is not affected, mind is affected. Atmahana, it is it's a strange phenomenon that the mind goes through. Anmol, if you attend classes, you think about what you have studied in the class, you reflect upon it, the intellect grows, then you can direct, govern your desires, achieve whatever you would like to achieve, and use all of this as a method of gaining knowledge of the higher. And if you go about it the right way, then you get everything. You become successful, you become peaceful, and you develop as a human being. I hope that is okay, Anmol. But now that was all of this in brief. So if you don't understand, never mind. Keep attending classes. It'll all fall into place. Okay, so let's go back to what we were studying, light of wisdom. A chapter on knowledge itself. Very important for us to understand, because we are in the path of knowledge. So we have to understand what is knowledge, what is the role of knowledge, why are we undertaking knowledge. We can't go blindly into anything. This topic is a little more difficult than the others because it's not what people call practical. Except if you understand it, it's really practical. The nature of knowledge is the higher the things we understand, the easier it is to comprehend anything lower than that. Like, imagine if you could comprehend E is equal to mc squared. What explanation of physics do you require? You won't require any, right? So the higher the yeah, welcome, Amol. The higher the knowledge we understand, the less we need to understand the lower, because that becomes self-evident. I mean, you don't need any further explanation. So actually, if you see, the purpose of knowledge is always to get the higher knowledge. Because when you get the higher knowledge, the lower knowledge becomes irrelevant. In every sense of the term. So yeah, let's understand carefully. Let's understand about knowledge. Just forget about practical for the moment. The practical will fall into place if we can understand this. Okay, so just forget about it. Follow-up query if you have the time. Okay, go ahead, Sarthak.
मैम गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं हेलो।
हाँ जी, बोलिए।
हाँ मैम, मेरे को ना, मैं जो आपने सार्थक ने आपको बताया कि पिछले मेरे को इन सब चीज़ों में मैं जा रहा हूँ कि हाँ ऐसा कुछ नहीं है मैम, मैं भी इन सब चीज़ों को नहीं मानता। बट क्या है, पिछले कई सालों से मतलब कि जैसे सार्थक को लेके ही मेन वो है कि ये माइंड स्टेबल वाला वो नहीं हो पा रहा है हमारे यहाँ। मतलब ये कभी कुछ करना चाहता है, कभी कुछ करना चाहता है, और उसमें फिर मेरे हिसाब से मतलब वो चीज़ें नहीं कर पा रहा। मेन मेरे को पैसे से या किसी चीज़ से कोई वो नहीं है कि मैं पैसे वाइज़ या मेरे को कोई इच्छा हो या पैसे वाइज़ कोई वो हो या एनी वो मेरी केवल एक ही इच्छा है कि मेरा बेटा और मेरी फैमिली किसी तरह से इन सब चीज़ों से बिल्कुल मतलब मेंटल पीस में आए। मतलब जैसे हम लोगों ने अपने ठीक है, मैं इन सब चीज़ों में गया थोड़ा बहुत पिछले 10-15 दिन से, 20 दिन से, तो उससे चेक करवाया तो उनके हिसाब से मेरे बेटे और मेरी वाइफ में थोड़ा-सा ये किसी ने कुछ करा है, ऐसा मेरे को मालूम चला। मैं इन सब चीज़ों में बिलीव बिल्कुल नहीं करता था। बट क्या है कि मैं ये चाहता हूँ मेरे बेटे कम से कम स्टेबल तो हों। आज मतलब गॉड या अपना कोई भी उसकी वजह से हम लोग पैसे वाइज या उसमें बहुत टचवुड बहुत अच्छा हमारा वो है। तो इसमें मतलब सार्थक मेन मेरे साथ मेरे को मेन प्रॉब्लम ये है, सार्थक किसी तरह से मतलब हम लोग क्यों मतलब सार्थक की उसकी वजह से सार्थक को मैं किसी तरह से स्टेबल करना चाहता हूँ। यही मेरी मेन।
फैन, आई अंडरस्टैंड। इच्छा यानी पैसों की इच्छा नहीं है यहाँ। क्या आपकी इच्छा है कि मेरा बेटा स्टेबल किसी चीज में हो जाए? वो रोज कभी ये बोलता है, कभी वो बोलता है, वो स्टेबल नहीं हो रहा है। ये हमारे मन, इच्छाएं अलग तरह की होती है। शारीरिक इच्छा होती है, मानसिक इच्छाएं होती है, और वैज्ञानिक बुद्धि की इच्छा होती है। तो ये इच्छा मानसिक इच्छा है, मेरा फैमिली सब ठीक हो जाए, ये इमोशनल इच्छा है। अब जो भी इच्छा हो, हमको अपना बुद्धि उस पर अप्लाई करनी चाहिए और सोचना चाहिए कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं। मेनी पेरेंट्स, आप ही नहीं, बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स का यही प्रॉब्लम होता है कि मेरा बच्चा सेटल नहीं हो रहा है कोई चीज में। दिस इज नॉट अनयूजुअल। कई बच्चों का मन स्थिर नहीं हो जाता। मेरी मम्मी डैडी का भी यही प्रॉब्लम था मेरे साथ। ओके, कि कभी ये बोलती है, कभी वो बोलती है। ओके, ये होता है, सबका होता है, ऐसे नहीं कि कोई अनयूजुअल है। और फैमिली को बैठकर सोचना चाहिए कि हम इसके बारे में क्या कर सकते हैं, or leave the child alone. उसको just leave him alone. उसका जो मेथड है वो हो जाएगा. अभी मराठी में एक सेइंग है कि जब बच्चे के जूते और हमारे जूते एक हो जाते हैं तो ये माता पिता बेटा का वो रिश्ता नहीं रहता अभी. तो उसको जो करना है करने दीजिए. इसका ये अर्थ नहीं कि यू डोंट केयर. इसका ये अर्थ है कि हम पेशेंटली वेट करें जब तक उसको अपनी दिशा मिल जाए. Just leave it, mentally leave it, because there is nothing we can do about what another adult human being is doing. और थोड़ा थोड़ा करके सब ठीक हो जाएगा.
नहीं ठीक है मैम, बट क्या है वो जैसे मठ हो गया, कभी मठ जाना चाहता हूँ, कभी कुछ करना चाहता हूँ, मेरी मतलब इन सब चीजों में वो कर रहा है जो मेरे हिसाब से ठीक है. मैं कहता हूँ गीता पढ़िए, आप सारे धर्म पुण्य करिए, पर साथ में वर्किंग भी कोई ऐसी वर्किंग नहीं है कि हम कोई पूरा पहले दिन वर्किंग आओ 2-3 घंटे अपने साथ. लाइफ को और भी नजरिए से देखना चाहिए, ये नहीं कि केवल मठ हो गया या इन सब चीजों में.
अच्छा मिस्टर जिंदल, आई एम सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू. ये क्लास I mean I'm happy to answer your question. I'll talk to you later on. पर ये वेदांता ट्रीटीज की क्लास है तो सबको we need not hold everybody up.
Sorry
So we'll talk about it. We'll just talk about it a little later. You can get my details from Bharat and we can talk about it later on.
Okay ma'am. Thanks ma'am. Happy Deepavali ma'am.
Happy Deepavali. Okay, so you are having others also agreeing with this idea. Mole is saying, yes, my father would say the same thing about me. Yes, my father never said anything. My mother said the same thing about me. I'm sure many of us have had our parents say this about us. It is not unusual. It is not terrible. And we can, of course, discuss it. It's not that it has to be ignored or it has to be not be dealt with, but we'll deal with it. So coming back to lighter wisdom. What did we learn so far? We learned that there is one reality, there is one God. This God, this reality, the Atman, Brahman, whatever you want to call it, is all pervading. But if you wish to locate it, if you want to find it, if you want to meet it, if you like, the only way is to go within. There's no other way to do it. When you go within, you find your own infinite nature. You find that reality, which is all pervading, is the same reality which is within you. You yourself are that. There is no question of you finding anything. You are that. Now, all this is very problematic. Right? Go within, find the reality. Why should we do all this? As if we don't have enough things to do in life. We have to study, we have to earn, we have to work, we have to have children, we have to get married. You have to get married, you have to have children, you have to do all sorts of things in this world. You have to look after your health, you have to pay your insurance, you have to file your taxes. अरे किसको टाइम है बाबा ये सब reality इस सब में ढूंढने का. This is the way people argue. So therefore, he tells us why we need to know this reality. Why do we need to know the reality? Because ignorance of the one reality projects the pluralistic phenomena of the world. Remember, we talked about how when you know higher truths, the lower truths don't need to be known. But knowing higher truths is very difficult. So the higher truth is this. Ignorance of that reality projects the pluralistic phenomenon of this world. The world appears to me because I don't know the truth. The world appears real to me because I don't know what reality is. This whole creation is nothing but my ignorance or the ignorance of what the truth, the reality is. Right? This is the higher truth. It's a bit like, means what? I don't understand. Explain further. What? Okay, even if I find that, what of it? That's why he's going to tell us what of it. Okay, so who will read the next paragraph? Who's going to read the next paragraph? No volunteers?
I'll read, Janki ji.
Please do, Reshma.
I don't have the book, so are we putting up the slide?
Yeah, what happened to the slide? Everybody in the class, please get the book. I know these are difficult times and it's difficult to acquire it, but maybe you can get in touch with Bharat and figure out how to have the book, because how would you even be doing reflection if the book is not there? You can't just rely on memory. Okay,
Right.
go ahead, Reshma.
Okay. The third paragraph.
Yeah.
The ignorance of self keeps you in darkness all through your life. Groping in the self-created, deluded world, you get the knocks and shocks of life. Imagine yourself moving about in a room plunged in darkness. You would strike against niches and notches, fittings and furniture, and injure yourself. So too, you grope in ignorance in the world and suffer the pangs of sorrow and misery. The solution to this problem is to bring light into the room, the light of wisdom into your bosom. Gain the knowledge of your supreme self. It is ignorance that converts the kingdom of heaven into a veritable hell. You may use your body to enjoy sensual pleasures, your mind to indulge with emotional joys, your intellect to entertain with knowledge. They may give you some temporary satisfaction, no more. These material equipments cannot provide you with enduring peace and happiness. The knowledge of self alone can reach you to the eternal abode of bliss. So basically, this paragraph says that there is no other way to get permanent happiness except knowing the self. And then he has explained the analogy of how it is how we operate in a dark room, and that is how we are operating in our life, and that is why there is stress, there is sorrow, there's misery. So unless we have this knowledge of what we truly are, it will continue to bother us. Anything else will just be temporary happiness.
Very good. So it's a beautiful example, isn't it? You're in a dark room, and so you bump into things. So the simple answer to that is switch the light on. You won't bump into anything. Nothing is going to bother you if the light is on. That's the role of knowledge. Put the light on. You won't bump into anything. Nothing is going to be a botheration. Why would it be a botheration? So that's how simple it is. So switch the light on means what?
Walk the path.
Recognize the self.
Realizing the self.
Gain the knowledge of the higher. The
Yes.
higher the knowledge you have, it's almost as if your light is taken up. See, suppose you have a torch and you're just shining it on 1 inch. All you can see is that 1 inch. But move your torch up, no? You'll start seeing more and more and more. And the more you see, the less you bump into. The more the knowledge, the less the agitation. And that's how simple it is. The only troublesome thing in this is gaining that higher knowledge. If you do gain the higher knowledge, you're sorted. But gaining the higher knowledge requires effort. It doesn't drop onto us from the high heavens. So this beautiful example tells us how knowledge helps us in our lives. And here, of course, we're talking about knowledge of reality. Okay, so remember what he said last time. He said the ignorance of the world creates the ignorance of the reality creates the world. For a moment, pause and think of that. Ignorance of reality creates the world. Ignorance of knowing my fullness, which is the reality, creates for me a void that makes me think that if I get something, I am going to become happy. Creation of a world. The moment I create that world, right, that I think if I get this, I will be happy. Whatever that thing be. I want a very good body, and if I had a very good body, I would be happy. Think of the world that gets created. Okay, first you will do a Google search. How do I get a good body? Then you will settle on, I have to eat this food, eat organic, and I have to eat high protein, and I have to eat a lot of fresh fruits, or whatever. You create the whole world. You have to go to, what is this place? Food hall and get your stuff. You create the world, right? And when you go to food hall, what will you see? You'll see not only all the things you originally went there to buy, you see some other things too. Now you set off in some other thing. Look at the world that's get created. Then you go back and you say, okay, I need food and I need exercise. So you search all the gyms around here. And then you go to Amazon and you say, okay, which thing shall I buy? So that I have something at home also to do. Okay, look at how it's going. You had that one thought. If I had a good body, I would be a happy person. And now the whole world is being created around it. Absence of the knowledge of reality creates the whole world. Now, just this is only good body. Imagine if you thought, if I marry this person, I will be a happy person. Now think of the world that you created. What all will get involved? Furniture and curtains and bathroom fittings and I don't know what all will get involved. Just because you had the thought, if I marry this person, I will be happy. You will have children, you will have school admissions, you will have marriage of the children and grandchildren, and I don't know what all world will be created. All because you had the thought that I want to marry this person, or I want a good body, or I want whatever in the world you claimed you wanted. Isn't it? Just ignorance of the reality of your fullness. It is so simple. And when we say this, everybody says, oh, so is Vedanta against us getting married? Is Vedanta against my having a good body? No, Vedanta is not against it. So should we not get a good body? Of course you should have a good body. Why on earth should you not have a good body? Should I not get married? Of course, please be married if you wish to be married. No problem over there. Then what's the problem? Can anybody tell me what's the problem?
Don't believe that these things will make you happy, especially marriage.
Bharat, you please believe. Otherwise, we are going to have Bal Brahmachari over here. So, no, Bharat, don't believe marriage will make you happy. It's not true. If you are doing anything in the pursuit of happiness, that is where it is erring. That is the problem. The problem is not in doing those things. There's no problem in doing those things. They're all fun things to do. Please go ahead and do them. If it's within the range of your interest, please do it. No problem. But if you're doing that in the pursuit of happiness, you will not find the happiness there. How difficult is that to get? You have done things in the pursuit of happiness. This is not new to us. We are not newborn babes. We already have our experiences of life. We all have done things in the pursuit of happiness. Have they given it to us? Think for yourself. This is not like we are learning something in a book. This is our life. It's not about just saying, oh, Bhagavad Gita says this, Krishna says that, Vedanta says that. Never mind what Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, Vedanta says. Never mind. What about your life? What about my life? Fact is, if you do these things because of a lacuna within yourself, because you cannot find the happiness and peace within, you will not find the peace out of these things because you're looking in the wrong place. It's not there. Anmol says, what should we do for it then? Anmol, the first thing to do is gain knowledge, understand what is happening, and then be free to do whatever in the world you want. There is no problem in doing. The world is there for our enjoyment. We have desires within us. We have the world which is very capable of fulfilling our desires. We are very capable of making sure that the world will fulfill our desires. No problem. No problem as far as that is concerned. But gain the knowledge. Understand what is going on. Figure out in your head. Is Aditi here? Aditi's new favorite, his first principles. First principles. Get the first principles right. If you all have studied physics, you'll understand. Then, like first principles, go back to first principles. You can't see happy. If you're not a happy person right now and right here, nothing you get is going to make you a happy person. Learn the happiness which is right here and right now. And with that happiness, pursue whatever you want. That's no problem. Both your happiness and your sorrow will not topple you. Okay, so Amol Janan says, but then why do it? Is that what you mean? Why do? Means if it's not giving us happiness, why do we do it? Well, we're here and we have to do something. So you might as well follow the line of your own interest. So why would you not do it? Even if you choose not to do it, you've still chosen to do something, right? So why not just follow the line of your interest? Because it is in the line of your interest. Whatever you're really good at, whatever you're interested in doing, you will be the greatest service in the world. We are all here. We can all help each other. We are all like one big team together. And, if we all do what is in our interest, what we are capable of doing, imagine the world will be a beautiful place. We'll create a heaven on earth for ourselves. Why wouldn't we do it? Of course we'll do it. Why wouldn't you get married? Why wouldn't you start a business? Why wouldn't you have your profession? Why wouldn't you throw a party? Why wouldn't you do it? If it's a benefit to the people, do it. Why not? But if you're doing it with the intent that I will become happy by doing it, ain't happening. But if you do it as an act of service, whatever you do will become a source of pleasure, become a huge source of pleasure. I hope that's okay, Anmol. Nilanjan, like it is said, knowledge is dharma. That's right, knowledge is dharma. If you are ignorant, how can you be dharmic? Can't be done. What is the right source of happiness? You yourself, Amol, you are your source of happiness. Yourself is the source of happiness. The reality, the truth is the source of happiness. It is already happy, it is already you. So it's not even the right source. You are happiness as it is. I don't know. Have you seen this book? Let me show you the book. This is the book, Vedanta Treatise. This is the book we are studying in class. Anmol, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Anmol is asking this on Instagram in case all of you are wondering where I'm seeing questions that you're not. I'm not faking the questions, they're really there. Tejas, after all, it's a small measure of peace that we all seek, but rather equated with happiness and pleasure. Yes, Captain Mehta, yes, but he can't see the screen you can see. He can only see me. So I can't show him what you have just shown. Anmol. Okay, fine, thank you. So Tejas says small measure of peace that we seek. No, Tejas, we are not seeking a small measure of peace. We are seeking infinite peace. If I give you a little peace, you'll say, may I have a little more? And if I give you a little more, you'll say, may I have a little more? We all think we are seeking a little peace, but what we are seeking is infinite peace. And we equate it with happiness and pleasures. It is happiness and pleasures. It is peace, happiness, pleasures, is all synonymous terms. We don't, the reason people sometimes use it differently is because they try to make a difference between the peace you get from within and the peace you get because you ate a gulab jamun. Now, the peace you get from within and the peace you get from eating a gulab jamun is actually exactly the same. There's no difference in this, insofar as You don't get peace from outside, you get a gulab jamun from inside. But what is from outside? But what happens? What is the mechanism by which you feel peaceful is absence of desire. There's only one mechanism by which you feel peaceful, and that's absence of desire. You can gain absence of desire through higher knowledge. You can also gain absence of desire through fulfillment. I want a gulab jamun. I eat a gulab jamun. I feel very happy having eaten it. And I believe that the gulab jamun caused me the pleasure, the happiness. This is incorrect. When I ate the gulab jamun, where did the pleasure come from? Can anyone tell me?
Mind, our sense centers. Mind, our sense centers.
From within.
Meaning what? Where did the pleasure come from when I ate the gulab jamun? I'll just come back to you, Aditi. I want to talk about that point. But first, answer this question. When I ate the gulab jamun, where did the pleasure come from?
My desire to eat, and I'm eating it.
The absence of your desire. Yes, correct. You had a desire, you ate it, the desire was temporarily quelled. Because that desire was temporarily quelled, that temporary quelling is what has caused the joy. There is no other joy in life. This is the only way you can have happiness. Yes, that's right, Anmol, absence of desire. So you can have absence of desire by knowing higher things. You can also have absence of desire by temporarily fulfilling that desire. So as soon as the desire goes away, you're happy. Either way, either out of fulfillment or out of knowledge. So Aditi, when you say that it is my sense centers that got the pleasure, that is not correct, because if I had no desire for a gulab jamun and you gave me one, it will irritate me. Suppose I've come to your house and you're making me eat gulab jamuns, and now I'm on the sixth one out of absolute good manners. I'm eating it and I'm hating it. You're giving me gulab jamuns and it's not giving me pleasure. Right? So it's not my sense centers. It is only when that gulab jamun is capable of removing a desire which I have, will I get any pleasure out of it. This is what we don't get. When Vedanta says that the only pleasure is absence of desire, it is including every way you have got pleasure. Tejas, is that clear? Tejas?
Yes, Jangiji, it's clear.
There's only one way to get pleasure, and that is absence of desire. There is no other way. And there's only one way to get agitated, and that is presence of desire. There is no other way. Please go back to basic principles. These are first principles. Desire, agitation. Desire is equal to agitation. Absence of desire, no desire, is equal to pleasure. There is no other thing. It's so simple. The nice part about Vedanta, as you have often heard, is that it's all simple. No complication here. Pleasure, happiness, satiation, fulfillment, bliss, peace, all the same thing. No difference. So Anmol, where do you get the book from? You can get it from the Vedanta World website. The book is called Vedanta Treatise, The Eternities. Nilanjan, I can't understand. Is the want which quenches the materialistic desire? No, it is a fulfillment of want. You have a desire, any desire, material, spiritual, it doesn't matter. When you get the object, that desire temporarily quells, temporarily comes down, and that's the experience of happiness. If it didn't come down, you would not experience happiness. That's the only way to experience happiness. There's no other way to do this. Okay, so coming back, ignorance of reality causes the world. Once the world is caused, in that world, you keep moving in the darkness and bump into all sorts of things and create further and further agitation. So the solution is bring in the light. Understand about the reality, which is the ultimate reality. But the path to understanding that ultimate reality is to understand the truths of life, the facts of life, the first principles. And as you understand more and more of them, please note, not know them, not say them, not repeat them, not indulge in them, but understand this deeply and within yourself. You don't need any of the other stuff because you've got it. Imagine you've got it, that the only cause of agitation is desire and the only cause of pleasure is absence of desire. It's the first principle. You've got this. Now you don't need anything else. That's the end of your education. But it is getting this which is so tough. So he says, get the knowledge of reality in the absolute sense, the reality in the relative sense, the facts and the truths of life. Okay, I assume this chapter will go very slowly because we have to understand each part of this, because we are trying to understand now what knowledge itself is. Knowledge is knowledge of reality. That is what knowledge is. Okay? And anything that doesn't give you an appreciation of the facts or truths is called ignorance. It's called belief. Knowledge means you've understood some truth. Maybe about anything, but truth. And understanding knowledge completely is understanding the reality completely. Okay. If you try any other way, it's going to be temporary because you can quell desires temporarily. They will just shoot right back up again. So that's it for today. Thank you,
Thank you, Janki.